Hi, my name is Liv, and welcome to Blade of Desire. This is your home for all things spirituality, astrology, wellness, all put together into one. Today, I wanted to explore something that I've been working on more so myself recently. This has been something that I've been working to develop and strengthen and just become more aware of, and that is intuition. I think that this is an important topic to discuss because in reality, everyone has a sense of intuition. It's something that lives deep inside of us and will always be present. But because of the world today, we're taught to ignore it and push it to the side and listen to logic instead. And I think it's really important to find balance and wholeness in between intuition and logic. And finding that balance is what, in general, strengthens our intuition and lets us know when we should be listening to our heart instead of our mind. It's just a very important concept to develop, especially if you consider yourself a spiritual person. Just know that intuition does live inside of you and that it always has. And it is a matter of just strengthening that sense and strengthening that inner knowing. And that's what I want to talk about today. In today's video, we'll discuss what intuition is in general, ways that it can be blocked, and ways that we can work to harness it. I've also worked to make my own intuitive journaling prompts booklet. So if that's something that you're interested in, it will be linked down below in the description for you guys. So these are totally free journaling prompts that you all can use after you're done watching this video to hopefully help you sort through your sense of intuition. There's more periodical ones, but there's also daily check-in journaling prompts, so there should be something that everyone can benefit from, and that's what's most important. It's important that we start with the foundational idea of what intuition is. Intuition, in and of itself, is your inner knowing. It's that inner voice that speaks to you and that you can feel in your heart or in your body. Somatically, it's a very important feeling that we can all listen to and hear within ourselves. Even biologically, we can trace this inner sense of knowing. So if you want to look at it in a more scientific way as well, we all have what's called our enteric nervous system. I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. But we all have a second nervous system, essentially, that lives in our stomach. It's full of neurons that essentially process and analyze feelings and information before our brain even catches up. So you can think of it like a second brain. Spiritually, intuition is described as a higher knowing, a higher voice. Some people describe it as a connection to God. But however you want to look at it, whether it's in a more scientific light or more so in that spiritual sense, we all have intuition and we all have inner knowing. Despite maybe not knowing exactly where this feeling comes from, it's a feeling that we all own and have deep inside ourselves. That being said, let's talk about why we sometimes lose our sense of intuition along the way. Unfortunately, we live in a world that teaches us logic and left brain over listening to our right brain and our heart at all. And I think that makes it really hard to listen to your intuition and develop that sense of intuition because essentially we're kind of taught to ignore it from a young age, and we're taught to not listen to our body, not listen to our heart or our mind, and just keep trudging forward at all times, whether that's for productivity's sake or your own sake. It's essentially the way that we run as a collective. And that makes it hard for us to dial in. It's also, I think, interesting how we lose our sense of intuition because it's considered strange or weird to listen to that inner knowing. It's something that's just kind of pushed to the wayside as being too woo-woo or too spiritual, when in reality, it's just nothing more than a feeling. That's all you can chalk intuition up to be. It doesn't have to be this great, big, dramatic feeling or dramatic thing or super woo-woo like a lot of people think it is. It's just something that we listen to inside of ourselves. In today's world, we're rewarded for logic and productivity and getting the most done that we can, always. So I challenge you to slow down and listen to your sense of self and your intuition. Like I said, we'll talk about in this video how to do so, but I think it's important to establish now that we're lost on the sense of intuition because of what society wants us to conform to today. And again, that's that sense of productivity and always having to get something done and always picking the logical side of ourselves. When in reality, if we listen to what we really felt, we would probably feel a lot more aligned to our own decisions in life and what we choose to do. Something that I think is important to analyze the difference between is the idea of fear versus intuition, because there is a difference. And I think it's easy for intuition to get wrapped up in the idea of fear and anxiety and just be chalked up as that instead. But there is a way to tell the difference between the two, and I think it's important to denote that in this video because I want to give a well-rounded sense of the word, and I don't want it to be something that's misconstrued as just anxiety or fear, because those are also very real emotions and very real things that we should pay attention to. So let's kind of dissect the difference between the two. Intuition, and when you feel something intuitively, is always calm, quiet, and steady in its presentation, versus fear and anxiety is fast, it's loud, it's out of nowhere. It's a feeling that you feel like you can't control. But intuition is something that you will always feel in control of, in a sense, even if you don't know what your intuition is pushing you to do. It's something that you will always have, and it's something that will be quiet within you and just be very steady and very all-knowing, versus anxiety is an opposite experience in that sense. Intuition is also something that's coming from the body most of the time. It's something that we feel internally, versus anxiety a lot of the time stems from the brain and overthinking and thought loops and all of those things that can cause anxiety. So intuition is more so felt in the body, and it's something that we tangibly know, versus anxiety a lot of times can be something that starts in the mind and then follows to the rest of the body. I'd also like to place emphasis again on the feeling of steadiness and grounding that intuition is, versus fear and anxiety. It's not a very knowing thing. It's full of what ifs, it's full of stress, and it's not something that your mind can just settle on easily. So there's a huge difference there, and that's something to take note of, because intuition will always feel like a steady, grounding feeling, and it will be a sense of knowing in your own body. Fear and anxiety also pushes you to avoid things that scare you or push you out of your comfort zone. If it's something that is trying to protect you, then it's probably that sense of fear or anxiety, versus intuition might push you along more difficult paths, but push you towards a sense of enlightenment and alignment with your own body and your life path. So if you feel anxiety and doubt and fear creeping up, then it might be to protect you from something, which is totally okay. That's what our bodies naturally do. But intuition is going to feel warm and safe, and even if it's scary in the moment, it's going to, again, align us for a better future. A little mental thing that I highly recommend, and this is something that I do all the time because, truthfully speaking, I struggle with anxiety myself, and it's something I've been dealing with pretty much my whole life. So establishing that difference between intuition and anxiety has always been really relevant for me, and something that I do to help that is whenever I have that feeling in my chest or wherever I feel it in my body, I ask myself, if I wasn't afraid or if I wasn't anxious right now, what would be the action that I would be taking? Because that better helps me connect to my sense of intuition and what I should actually do next versus what my anxiety wants me to do next, because there is a difference there. So I highly recommend the next time that you feel like you're in a situation where you're just unsure of what you should be listening to, ask yourself that question, and I think it'll really help. Okay, now let's talk about the most exciting part of this video, and that is how to strengthen your intuition. First, I recommend creating a sense of grounding and stillness in your life every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Taking the time to ground yourself in your body and your physical representation of yourself really matters, and it connects you to your sense of intuition greater. So whether that's meditating or doing some sort of somatic practice or stretching, anything like that, those are all amazing techniques for connecting yourself to your body, and that will allow you to better listen to that sense of intuition that lives inside of you. Building off of that, I recommend in general just paying really close attention to your body and the way that it reacts to things, because again, this kind of helps to cultivate that sense of knowing that we're looking for when we're developing our intuition. So pay attention to how your body reacts to the choices you make, where you feel it in your body when you say yes or no to something. And pay attention to physical cues as well. So that would be like lightheadedness, nausea, a feeling of excitement, a feeling of joy, something in your stomach, anything like that. That can all be our intuition trying to speak with us. Like I kind of talked about at the beginning of this video, I highly recommend doing journaling to better connect with your intuition and understand what it looks like for you. Like I said, I have created a little free, totally free workbook of journaling prompts that you can use. It'll help you dive further into your intuition, and it also provides just short daily journaling prompts as well. I'll have it linked down below, but I do highly recommend those, as I think they'll help connect you further to your intuition and listening to that sense of knowing and just figuring out what that sense of knowing looks like in the first place for you. The next thing that I recommend is just trusting your intuition and your gut on a daily basis. So use it to make small decisions like what you're going to eat for breakfast, or what you're going to wear that day, or which route you're going to take to work. Just make little simple micro decisions listening to your intuition and see where that leads you. Because again, with repetition and practice and listening to the way our body reacts to things, that's how we develop that sense of intuition. So trusting it even on a daily basis, not with big huge ideas or decisions in our life, that's how we develop that sense, and that's how we can use it for all the bigger events. Last, I recommend this anytime that you do follow your intuition or your inner guide. Be sure to just pay attention and see what worked for you. Reflect and see, where did I feel this in my body, or what happened in this moment that led me to know it was my intuition. Again, this idea of journaling and reflection is so important to our development of ourselves and who we are. So I highly recommend just taking the time to reflect the next time that you notice you're using your intuition. And last, I just wanted to give a note on the idea of self-trust and trusting in yourself, because that's where our intuition lives. Our intuition lives when we know and we trust with confidence that we're listening to ourselves and we're listening to our inner voice and our inner knowing. If we don't trust our body and trust ourselves to give us the right answers and lead us in the right direction, then we'll never be able to listen to our intuition for what it is. And having that sense of trust is what will restore our connection to our bodies. Overall, I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. This was really fun to just sit down and film, especially being outside and feeling more grounded and connected as I do film. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and let me know down below what intuition looks like for you or how you've worked to develop it over time. I would love to know. This is something that I'm actively working on myself. So I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be back so soon with another video. But thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and love. Bye.